Ed.
Hi, how are you guys?
Awesome.
Good. So for those of you who do not know, we have Pete and Keith here with us. They are mega icon team leaders. They run one of the largest teams out in Arizona. They are on pace to do over what is 100 million sales? $100 million in sales this year. So
Awesome.
That's super exciting, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Well, yeah, so I guess the big thing that I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about was, how do you build a team to that level? How do you find that much greatness and channel it into one room? Please share your magic with us because we need it.
Yeah, it's definitely a team effort, a group effort. You know, you cannot get to this size and do certain things without having help along the way and people good people with you the whole way. So I know, like we mentioned, we had some incredible growth years in there. And the most important thing that Keith and I like to point out to, especially anyone trying to start the team, is, we built it with the thought of, like, if we're building a house, we've got to lay a very strong foundation. And so we spent the whole first year really building out what we wanted that team to be. So we spent that first year building systems, working on what our training is going to be, what is the marketing plan, kind of working on everything so that agents can come in, step right in and be ready to go and have success very early on. We knew, coming from teams before, that if those agents weren't having success early on right away, it was going to be hard to grow it. And so we were doing that while we're selling, because no one else is paying the bills. So it's not that we're just doing that. We're perfecting that stuff or improving it while we're doing our sales, keeping everything going. We're testing it out in the field so that we know, okay, these things are working. And then once that foundation was laid, we kind of opened the floodgates and said, okay, let's go. And then we felt this is not perfect, but at a point where we feel an agent can step in, have immediate success, and now we can spread the word about it.
And I think
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think a ton of it has to do with defining culture. Like it's extremely, extremely important defining that culture from day one. Because if you start off on the wrong foot, you start building a direction where you're attracting a demographic, you're attracting an audience that you don't necessarily want to right off the bat. You're going to find out the pain points really, really quickly. So when you start scaling and growing a team, it's important to know, what do I want my culture to look like? How big do I actually want this thing to get? So Pete and I, we had pretty big dreams and visions when we first started. So we knew we were going to build a large team. It was just a matter of time. And so we had to define what that large scale team culture would look like and what values we were going to represent on this team so that we could attract the right people. And sure enough, that's what happened. And I think it's super, super important to actually lay that out, write it on paper, start figuring out what those real vision, value, mission, belief statements are, and then follow them all the way through to through the recruiting process, through the design process of structure and team, because it starts to attract people on its own. We didn't recruit 50 plus agents over that amount of time. A lot of them were attracted to what we were doing. And I think that's really key. We didn't chase people down and sales pitch them to, hey, you need to do this. This is where you need to be. Come over here. It was a lot more, hey, this is what we're doing. Let us know if you ever want to be a part of it. And we had people come to us all the time, just asking questions, wanting to know more. And that's really how growth happens.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think that you hit the nail on the head with saying, I love that you guys actually took the time ahead of time before you started recruiting. I think a lot of agents, ourselves included, we hit capacity, right? So we never really thought, oh, we want to have a team, right? We were having success, and then we were like, okay, well, now we hit capacity. We kind of stumbled into the team thing. And by doing so, we hit a lot of roadblocks. I think, you hit you see a lot of faults in your systems because we know what's going on all the time, you have to make it where it's duplicatable and where somebody can jump right in. And I think that I see a lot of teams form just out of oh, well, hey, I like you, you like me. Let's be friends. Let's work together. And you see a lot of mistakes made that way. So I think that's really awesome that you guys kind of thought that through. I wish we would have thought
Yeah. Laying that foundation, that base, and getting your systems down is so key, because I think 95% of teams that we know, it kind of happened on accident, and then you're trying to figure it out as you go. I think a lot of your success is because you planned it out like it was opening a business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say, it's what you guys are explaining is a very common thing. And so, we see that with other teams a lot. We were fortunate enough, that we had experienced some teams before. And so when we made that decision, we knew, okay, here's some of the things we want. So one of the things when we were building it that I like to share is Keith and I would always say, what would I want if I was on my team? Would I be on my own team? What would I want as an agent on the team, and try to kind of go at it through that lens?
Would I work for myself? That's such an important concept. Would I be a member on this team? Would I accept these splits? Would I accept this structure, this system, this training, all of that? Would I find value in what we're building? And then we can attract other agents like Pete and I.
And I'll tell you what, we still do that to this day when we're making decisions about certain things on the team. Should we go, should we change something? Should we go down this road with this new partner or this marketing thing or whatever it might be? And sometimes Keith will turn to me and go, well, let me ask you, Pete, if you were an agent, would you do that? Would you want that? And if the answer is no, and sometimes it's no, then we scratch it. We go, okay, then let's not do it.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. And now you guys started the team in 2016, right?
Yes.
That's incredible that you guys have had that much growth. So what's your guys' background before you started the team? Like, I know you said that you had experience. Pete, you were in the mortgage industry, right? First.
Yeah, so I started on the mortgage side. So right out of college, I ended up going with getting a job with one of the large home builders on the mortgage side. And that was an interesting experience to see more of the corporate side of real estate, if you will. And so, I was there for about a little over 2.5 years. And I got to work in many different markets as well. I was in a program that sent me, to their different markets all around the country. So I spent time in Dallas and LA and Baltimore and Atlanta and all over the country. And so it was saw one side of it, but then came back, got into the retail side, and I've been in the business 16, almost 17 years. And during that time, I've worked with the investors on the investment side, home builders, even spent some time with on the HOA side with the HOA management companies, specifically helping new build communities and getting those set up on the HOA side. And I'll tell you, I was doing some of that when the market crashed last time. So being in those homeowner meetings during some of this stuff when the builder didn't want to show their face, and I was trying to help, that transition and help set that up was interesting. And then eventually, just continue with the resale, and Keith and I started the team in 2016.
So Keith, and you got licensed in 2015, right?
Yes, I believe. Oh, yeah. Feels like so long ago, even though it's so short. It was. In all reality, been in real estate for about 8 months when we started the team. So it was just at the end of 2015 I got licensed, and just started flourishing, and kind of knew that was the direction I wanted to go.
Awesome. So how did you guys meet up? How did you two decide to be a team?
We were on a real estate team together at an entry place that I ended up starting real estate and it started my career at, where we saw a lot of the things we wanted to accomplish. We saw a lot of positives about team building and what a team can hold and the values there. But necessarily, Pete and I are very strong personalities. We're very driven. We know what we want. And then when we were on that team and we started thriving, I mean, we were doing probably close to 65, 75% of the entire team's market share of volume just between the two of us. So we sat down a couple times at least and said, hey, why are we opening up this office, closing this office down, and doing a majority of the volume for just a piece of the pie when we know we have the skills and the ability to lead at the highest level? And so we planned it out. We said, hey, what do we need to do to build something of our own, but do it different? Because that was the most important thing. There are a ton of great things about the team model, a ton of them. But if they're done the wrong way, it can really kind of blow up in your face. And you have to focus on what matters, and that's agent-focused mindset. So we knew that when we started our team, We wanted a team that revolved around them, that pushed them to succeed, that served the agents, not necessarily a team that served the leaders. And I think it's really easy to get caught up in that. And so what's cool, over the course of time, we have been doing this for about 5 years now, coming up on 5 years. And the cool thing is we've spent our whole time serving them. And now we're starting to see how serving others ends up serving yourself in the long run. It really does. You grow because of helping others. Everybody else brings you with them. And so that's been a really cool reality, is that if we have an agent-focused business where we truly are trying to help agents make the most amount of money, have the most success, then by giving them a ton of success, what happens when your team has a ton of success? Well, everybody ends up having success. So it's been an awesome journey so far.
And so you guys obviously talk a lot about culture. Like, that is definitely probably the biggest, like, it's on the forefront of your guys' mind all the time. What are the things that you think are the most important things that you guys do on a regular basis with your team to help ensure that culture, especially with COVID, right? So I'm assuming you guys used to be able to meet all the time, and now it's all transition. So during all this time, how are you keeping that culture, keeping everybody motivated and going?
Yeah, and luckily for us here in Phoenix, we were able to continue our business. Real estate kept going all through COVID, and really business took off during COVID, which is I know has happened for certain people. So we were very lucky that way. And one of the things that we tried to do was, we had transitioned obviously to the Zoom meetings, just like almost everybody did during that time for team meetings and stuff like that. But we tried to go back to in-person meetings as soon as possible. And we always left the option, and we still do, for Zoom meetings. But once we went back, we started seeing every week more and more people kept showing up because they wanted to be there. They wanted, people were tired of being at the house. So it was important for us, with social distancing and doing it the best way we could. Hey, let's try to get together again. And so obviously between that and Zoom, we kept everybody going. But yeah, it's been hard because pre-COVID, one of the big things that we do is we would have team events every month where we would say, guys, this has nothing to do with real estate. Let's all go have fun. And we would go, go-kart racing or, indoor skydiving or whatever, and just try to say, this is the people, as Keith likes to say, that we also want to do life with. And so I think that helps the team bond, is to just be around each other sometimes without the real estate portion. But on top of that, in our team meetings, every week we always try to do a monthly sales contest that kind of keeps things fun when we're doing it. Right now, we're doing a real estate Price is Right, for the month of September. Yeah, so people are going up there, and we're putting up, kitchen remodel. Who's got the price on this, and they're guessing. So we're kind of all learning a little bit too, and having some fun with some prizes on it and things like that. But the last part of that I think is probably crucial is every month, at the beginning of the month, Keith and I always put up in our team meeting what our 5 core values are. And we share that with the team because a lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, these are our core values, our mission statement, whatever. And then as you hear, they put it in the drawer and forget about it. And so we always once a month want to remind everybody, hey guys, this is the core values of the team. This is the framework that Keith and I use to make decisions, and reinforce with the team, this is the people that we're looking for. This is what this team is about. And one of the important things that we always say with that is, if we say that, and I think for any team leader, you've got to mean that, and you've got to stand behind it. And your team has to know that you do stand behind it, even when things get tough to stand behind it. So what I mean, a perfect example is, if we'll use it to make hiring decisions, firing decisions. Does this person fit with our core values? And one of the things that we've had in the past is we got to a point where the top producer on our team was not fitting those core values and was causing problems on the team. And we actually let that person go when they were at the time that they were the top producer. And it's hard to do that because a big chunk of your business goes away. But what it did, and what we always notice, is when we stick to those, the rest of the team sees that. The rest of the team sees that these guys are sticking to that. They're serious about it. They know they're going to follow through. It's not just lip service. And that kind of improves morale it pulls everybody behind, and they all know that we're not gonna play favorites, and we're not gonna use that only when it's convenient. That we're gonna stick to it, and they know where we stand at all times, and then we can all get together and all pull the same way.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So now I want to ask the question, because obviously you said made the move to EXP 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
So you have this big team, all the success, and you guys decide to make this huge move. How did that go down with the team? Like, what was the takeaway? How did they feel about it? And what did that transition look like?
Yeah, I mean, that, in all honesty, I feel, maybe people will probably agree with me, but I felt like that transition was kind of easy. It wasn't as difficult as people necessarily portray. Any type of change is scary in a business. It is. But what Pete and I have noticed, every time we've made a significant change in a positive direction, our business has flourished. We've grown from it. We may take a half a step back, but literally that next month or the next couple months, we're taking 3 or 4 giant leaps forward from that. And so I think a lot of the agents took it really well, because we were able to show them why we're doing things, and that we're always keeping their best interests at heart. And I think that's important. If we were doing it solely based on ourselves, that shows right through. It does. As a leader, if you're doing everything selfishly motivated wise, it's going to shine right through. But everything we've done, our core value, our number one core value, is to have a servant nature mentality. And so that's what we want to push forward. So when our agents see us make a decision based on them and the health of the team and the health of their business and the opportunity to come, that's huge, and that's a huge opportunity as we take that leap. So we would share those items with them. And I truly feel a lot of them accepted it wholeheartedly and said, hey, Pete and Keith are looking out for us. Let's follow them. Let's do what they're saying. You're always going to have a couple people that might think otherwise or different, and that's okay, because the key is the culture is continuing to move forward in the common direction.
Yeah, and just to expand on that point, like he said, as long as the team's got that trust in you, it went really well. I would say of all our team members at that point, we probably only had, I don't know, 1 or 2 people that we wanted to go, or that we wanted to take with us that didn't come. Everyone else came. And so, like you said, there's only 1 or 2, the vast majority. And then you've got those couple that are just kind of sitting on the sidelines. You're like, yes, they're kind of still on the team, but haven't seen them in a while. And so that was also a time to, let a few of those folks go. But like I said, you hadn't seen them in 3 months anyway. So for the most part, all of the active team members, all but 1 or 2, everybody was ready to go. Let's go do this, guys.
That's awesome. And so what was your motivation for going? Like, what made you guys, like, what was kind of like the aha moment for you guys? I always love hearing different team members' perspectives on this.
I would say it makes sense. I don't know how else to put it. Like, the numbers make sense, the culture makes sense, the future of the business makes sense, the opportunity makes sense. I think a lot of times we can be stuck in our same habits, our same routine. And I think once people start to have an open mindset of, hey, every industry in the history of this world has changed over time, and if you're not changing with it, then you're going to fall behind. And so with EXP, we just tried to keep an open mind, and we had been approached about EXP a year and a half before we actually made that transition. But the key that was really important is that we were patient and we kept an open mind through that process. And when we finally started growing the team to that level, it was like, this is a no-brainer. Anybody that has a team larger than 10 at least is absolutely no-brainer. It doesn't make sense to be anywhere else because of how awesome this system is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also important to have, like Keith said, we had been approached before that. And, it was important to see who had gone over and who's talking to you at that point. And, is it people that you trust? Is it people that, have been successful in the industry? And so yeah, we have, here in the Phoenix market with Chuck Fazio, one of our partners over here, he's had a lot of success. And when we're looking at him over there and talking to us about coming, it's somebody who holds some weight at that point, and you pay a little bit more attention. And then, like he said, you start digging in, you start looking, you go, hey, this makes sense for a team. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I know for us, that was a big decision just because I felt that there was so much support with how everything is just so collaborative as you're growing. I mean, especially for us too, we're still in production and still trying to do the team thing. So I love just how open everybody is. And there's times that, we've sent our team to talk to other team leaders because maybe they're working, we have agents that want to start focusing on something that I don't have the experience in, but there's other people that do that, and that they'll be able to jump on a call with an agent that's all the way out in California. That to me is a huge value, to our team.
Yeah. And Jet, for us too, one of the other things, I mean, as a team leader, if you bring somebody on the team and you spend, so much time and resources trying to help this person grow their business, trying to help them be successful. And then at some point, it no longer works out or they move on. Well, now you're starting from scratch again, training somebody else, trying to pour into somebody else. Now that person's going out and maybe you're keeping in touch with them or not. EXP changed that with, just like you said, everybody collaborating together, all one brokerage across the country. We've got people above us in the downline that are helping us. We're able to help people below us. And one of the cool things with the team, and I just had a call yesterday with one of our former team members, is if they get to a point where they go, hey, I want to go try this on my own, or I want to go build my own team, we can help them now. We're no longer competitors. It's like, Hey guys, that's awesome. We want to see you grow. We want to see you have success. We're all in the same team. We're all going the same way. Let's do that. And so now we've got, like I was saying yesterday, I've got an agent that was with us for several years. Her life circumstances changed. And so she said, I'm going to go work on this part-time now and do some other things. And so she left the team, but we still keep in touch. And she even reached out yesterday about a deal she's working on to get my advice. And I'm happy to help. And we had a nice conversation. And it just changes the feel and the environment to know, hey, we can do that. And we're all still kind of together on this.
Yeah. And I think, again, going back to culture, right? So I think that the great thing with EXP is just the culture for our team members, but then also for team leaders. I think as we're growing, and, I'm sure you guys felt the same way, as you're building teams or you're growing or you're running to that next level, it gets lonely sometimes, right? Like when you're the team lead all the time and you start running out of resources of who to go to. And, we've always been very collaborative with people, and we'd always reach out to people in our market and be like, hey, do you want to go do lunch or whatever? But, I just love that it's just opened our eyes, I think, so much, especially exposing us to agents all over the country. I think that's huge. Now you can get advice from somebody who isn't directly in your market, see what's happening on a bigger scale than I think sometimes we can get narrow focused in our world. And so it's been such a great experience for us, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. One of the biggest things that we noticed right out of the gate was the open collaboration. The fact that we're all owners in this company, so we all want everyone to succeed. And one of the unique things with this is, in the past, when we were at different brokerages, when someone left any team, it was almost always like a bad breakup. And we forecast for it, right? So, we look at the team, and I know a lot of teams do this, and who's going to be your next general that you're going to promote up and help them go open their own team. So let's have that conversation now of, hey, if you plan on coming on the team and you want your own team, then great. Let us help you do that. Let us show you how that's done. And then let's get you that team as soon as you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to just say, it reinforces our culture in its highest essence. If you're truly trying to serve someone else, then you would want them to have the absolute as much success as they possibly can have. So if you truly are a servant nature mentality and you want to serve someone and bring them to that highest level, would you not want them to have what you have or what you've built or what you've grown? And so I think the biggest thing that is an eye-opener experience is if you don't have a system or structure that supports that, it's really easy to find yourself. You don't need to go do a team. You don't need to. Why don't you just stay here, keep producing, keep making the team money, have that mentality? EXP opens that door to finally let go and say, no, I want to serve you. Let's build you huge. I hope you do better than I really do. I hope you have more success than I do, because EXP allows us to both be financially compensated for that, but also it just creates so much of a better relationship on anybody that leaves or starts their own thing. It's night and day difference on long-term success and growth. It's a bigger picture in mind.
100%. Yep.
So now one of the things I just was kind of going over some of my notes about you, I think this is such an interesting dynamic. So you two are team leaders, you guys partnered up, but both of your wives are agents as well.
It took a while to get there, I would say. Pete, a little
Yeah.
So I actually recruited my wife from across the country. So she was a real estate agent in Madison, Wisconsin, and on another top team leader there. I met her at a conference in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia. Pursued her a while and ended up recruiting her to the team. So I always say that's the hardest recruit I've ever had in my entire life. I had to make if you really want to know. So my wife joined the team a few years ago. It's been about 3 years now almost. And Pete's wife is newly into real estate, but it just makes a lot of sense to have a together vision in the business and together vision in the family household. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And it helps, I'm sure, as you guys have experienced, you guys can understand, each other and the business and what you're going through. I think when you're not in it, you don't really, I could tell my wife as much as I want, but what she experiences it, she doesn't fully understand it. And so, it was a little bit different. Like he said, his wife was in real estate from the beginning. My wife was a teacher for 10 years. And so, she was doing that. And then we had the kids, and she was staying home with the kids and watching me and watching the team, and really liked it, and talked about getting in for a while, but she just got licensed here at the beginning of this year.
But you guys have 4 kids, including like babies that are twins, and she got licensed.
Yes, and that's what I tell people too. So she actually got licensed while she was pregnant with the twins.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
so really like to go all in all the time. Go big or go home, right? That's what
right? That's what I thought. I was like, you sure you want to do this right now? And she said, listen, I'm stuck here, can't do much with these twins anyways. I might as well go through these classes right now. So she did that, and timing ended up, where she got her license right before everything got shut down with COVID. We had the twins. She just had twins at the end of January. So we actually went through this lockdown with 2 newborns and a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. So, it was certainly tough, but, for me, obviously, I got to spend some time with the babies this time around. The first time with the first 2 kids, I didn't get as much time, but this time, all day, every day with those babies.
That's awesome. Well, guys, we want to respect your time. I know that you guys are super busy, but thank you so much. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Hearing about your team, your vision, and all of that. And if anybody needs help, and if they're looking to join a team or looking to buy or sell in Arizona, how do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, we're always open to help. Anybody has any questions too, like about starting a team or growing your team, happy to talk to anybody. So you can reach us by phone number or email. We'll put it out, but we're at EXP. My phone number is 480-703-8007. Well, and you guys could just, I guess the easiest thing is kpeliteaz.com. Go to the website, and you guys can reach us there. Like I said, we're open to talk. Anybody's got any questions?
I prefer everybody writes down Pete's number and give him a call this week. Me, I would say call that number. If you want me to repeat it, I definitely will. Just ring him up. He's got a wife in real estate. It's COVID. Let's you want to just blast him. That's great. I'll just forward it to you. That's fine with me. So, but yeah, no, we're more than happy to help. Find us on Facebook, whatever, and we'll definitely help you guys out as well.
Awesome, guys.
We appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.